Hi, I'm with Jack Budgen and Anna Flack, and we're talking about the effect of flushing in lead concentrations on our taps. In your research, you guys identified that recently installed kitchens had higher lead concentrations when first flushes were performed. Can you tell us some of the reasons as to why that may be the case?
Yeah, so a little bit of background on how the lead gets into the drinking water. So brass fittings contain lead and can be up to 4.5% in Australia. And so when water's stagnant in contact with those brass fittings, lead can leach into the water. What we found was, newer taps had higher levels of lead leaching than older taps. And basically the reason for that is brass fittings can have up to 4.5% lead. So a newer tap has a greater accessible amount of lead on the surface that can easily leach into the water. If you compare that to an older tap, it's been leaching lead for many, many years and doesn't have that accessible lead on the surface to compare to when it was first manufactured.
You mentioned lead fittings having up to 4.5% worth of like lead concentration in the brass fittings, but countries like the US and Canada have regulations that say go up to 0.25%. Are lead fittings that meet those requirements available to Australians, or how would you try and communicate to Aussies that there are lead fittings that are less leady available?
They are available, but they can be very hard to come by. Basically, to look for a lead-free tap, they'd be hard to find, but also they can be up to 3 to 4 times more expensive. So, and us as consumers, we wouldn't know to look for those taps unless you actually had a bit of background and knowledge on that. So I'd say most people in the community wouldn't know, but they are available, but they're very hard to come by.
What are the lessons that you've learned, and what are the next steps for your research?
So the biggest lesson learned for us was that the current NHealth recommendation to flush your tap for 30 seconds to get rid of that lead that's leached out overnight might be a bit too much, and our results showed that something less, maybe 5 to 10 seconds, could be sufficient, which has led into some really exciting next steps for the project. WASA has taken our results and methodology and are developing a program that they're hoping to roll out across member utilities all over Australia. And from that, they'll hopefully gather a bigger data set which provides stronger evidence to give to NHealth for supporting their changing recommendations.
Thank you very much, Anna and Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you.